You know what? I love Kurt. I love him. He's my fiance, not yours. So back off.
Hey everybody, SP here. Aside from Ellen and Will and Grace, there was like no LGBT representation like in the 2000s on TV. Both of those shows were aimed at older people, so even worse, there was no LGBT representation for younger people, and I know I really could have used that growing up. So when Glee first came out, it was actually seen as like the gay show, and you know, I completely understand why. You know, it was the first young people show to have like actual real LGBT representation, and I think that's really great until you look back at Glee and then you realize this is terrible. The way they represent my kind is terrible. I'm going to do a tier list and rank the LGBT representation of Glee. Some things to note is it can't be one-off characters, so like this guy is a no-go. Some other things we're not taking into account their singing ability, we're more so taking into account, you know, what their message, the character story, their message, you know, everything, the sublime stuff behind the characters. So their popularity is not going to play a part in this. I actually have some really radical views about the popular gay characters on this show. So without any more delay, let's get started ranking the LGBT representation on Glee.
Woo! Okay, so this is my second time doing this, and I'm going to just do it again. So starting with the first gay character to ever appear on the show, we have Sandy Ryerson. Sandy Ryerson is in D tier. I'll tell you why Sandy Ryerson is in D tier. He's in D tier because he was a predator. Like the very first gay character on the show got fired for touching students inappropriately. Like that doesn't look good for our kind. This was back in 2009. We were still fighting back then. So like, no, I really don't think that was an okay decision to have a gay guy on the show be a predator. He has no redeeming qualities either. He goes from touching students inappropriately to selling drugs to students, and then to being just a villain on the show, apparently. He was a bad character all around. I don't like the actor anyway. This is not about the actors. He was just a bad character. They took a really good opportunity and made it really bad. So next character. Who's next? I'm gonna do Demi Lovato's character. You notice how I call her Demi Lovato's character? Because I don't remember her name, because she didn't stand out at all. And in that case, I'm going to just put her right here, because at least she's not a predator. Who do I want to do next? I'm gonna get Starchild out of the way too. I don't remember his name either. I just remember they called him Starchild, and that he was played by Adam Lambert. Adam Lambert fan. So, but that's, again, we're not doing the character. I mean, we're doing the character, not the actor. So there was a lot that didn't. I mean, he created a love triangle too, but it was kind of just all in Blaine's head, and in that case, like it was all in the character's head, so it wasn't even a real love triangle. So that's kind of boring, if you ask me. So not Love Child. What is his name? Starchild gets a C tier. Who's next? Let's do Karofsky. Karofsky is the first good character I'm going to rank. I really liked Karofsky. I really liked his coming out story and the fact that he became a bully because he was fighting back against, being gay and how the world would treat him after they find out and all that. Once he came out, and he accepted it, he became nicer. I really like that. I actually kind of get that. I remember when I was like trying to decide whether or not I'm gay or not, trying to decide. And so I totally get Karofsky's thing. So that's all I'm saying. Karofsky is an A tier. Who's next? Blaine. This is for dating Karofsky. There we go. I don't like Blaine. I'm sorry. But Brittany. Brittany is actually an interesting character in this regard, because as a writer, Brittany is what I would refer to as a mule, a story mule. They made her bi so she can date multiple people. They made her bi so she can date whoever they needed, whoever was convenient for them to make her date. And so she's kind of, that was a bit of mule-like behavior to just make her move the story along. She was a bit of a vehicle in that sense. And actually, I agree. I think that is the same thing with Coach Beast too. Coach Beast went through body dysmorphia, domestic violence, and finally he went through trans body dysmorphia. And in that case, gender dysmorphia. In that case, that again, it feels like Beast was a bit of a mule for the story. They just, whenever they needed something, whenever they wanted to tackle an issue, they would pick these two characters. Oh, we need someone to date somebody, or oh, we need someone to go through this. Like that's how they would pick stories for these characters. Santana's S tier. Santana was a really good character. She had the same thing going on with Karofsky, and that was kind of cool. It was really interesting that she was fighting back, and that's why she was so mean to people. Well, not really, because after she came out, she was still pretty mean to people. But she also went through losing her grandma. She had a gay marriage on the show. She went through a lot on the show. So I really think she was a really good character. I can see why she became so popular. She's actually my favorite character on the show. But then we go back to least favorite gay character on the show, and that is Kurt. I don't like Kurt. I feel like Kurt was a walking stereotype. Kurt is the reason the show was deemed the gay show back in 2009. And in that case, yeah, I don't like Kurt. I just think he was a walking stereotype. His story, and then he got gay bashed, and that didn't seem like something he would go through anyway. And then all the multiple love triangles he would go through, the cheating, I think Kurt had a really good coming out story, and I would put him higher up if he wasn't a walking stereotype. Yeah. If he wasn't a walking stereotype, Kurt would be definitely higher up. I have a very radical view of Unique, in the case that Unique had a lot of potential. They dealt with trans bathroom issues. They dealt with trans issues. Dealt with with gender dysmorphia. I think it's what it's called again. I'm tripping all over that word. But they had a lot of potential with Unique. Unique being the first trans character in I don't want to say children's show, but in a show for younger people. They had a lot of potential with Unique, and unfortunately, they messed it up all in one scene when Unique turns out to have been catfishing Ryder. I think in that case, that was a really, really bad thing, because on one hand, she didn't get any repercussions to it. There was no punishment for what she was doing. And then on the other end, there was no retribution. Ryder didn't get anything out of that. And so all this makes Unique look like is a predator. It just makes Unique look like a predator. And so trans people, first trans character on the show, turns out to be a predator. That's bad. That's really bad. Yeah, Unique is a D tier. Then we have, I saved two of my favorite characters for last. But they're in very different tiers. We'll start with Sebastian. Sebastian, in my opinion, represents the bullying that goes on in the gay community. There is a lot of that. There are some really mean gay people who are just mean to each other for they're mean for no reason at all. They're bullies. And Sebastian, I think, really captured that, which is why another reason I kind of want to put him so low, because yeah, he's a bit of a warning of how mean gay people can be. I was not prepared for that at all. When I came out, I was not prepared for how mean gay people could be to each other. But oh well. The problem comes with the love triangle between Blaine and Kurt. I don't believe that Sebastian was after Blaine for Blaine. How there was some turmoil between Kurt and Blaine because Sebastian was there. I feel like Sebastian was using the love triangle to get Blaine to come back to the Warblers. And I'm like, two things. Kurt doesn't sing lead, so why did that matter? I mean, he sings lead every now and then, but like, why did it really matter? Second thing, that just makes it look like gay people use sex to get after one another. And that's a bad idea. That was a bad thing to show. And I really didn't like that. And so I'm going to put Sebastian in C tier. Because again, it just makes us, I mean, that's predatory behavior, but it's not the, there we go. I'm having a better idea. There, he's in both. He's in C.5 tier. So finally, we have Spencer. Spencer is my favorite gay character on the show. I know I said Santana was my favorite character, but Spencer is my favorite gay character simply because of this. He's the antithesis of what Kurt was. Where Kurt was a walking stereotype, Spencer didn't want to be a stereotype, and that's why he didn't want to sing. Then he went on to kind of get this who cares attitude about if I sing. You know, he had a who cares attitude altogether. So it was really nice that somebody, I don't remember which character it was, but made him rethink that, hey, if I enjoy singing, who cares if it makes me look like a stereotype? And I think that's something that Kurt never really, handled. And so Spencer is S tier because Spencer really taught me, I think Spencer was on the show back in like 2015, which is like when I first came out. And I was always afraid of people like always saying, oh, he's doing this because he's gay. Oh, he paints his fingers because he's gay. Or he sits with his legs crossed because he's gay. And no, it's not. Even if it was, so what? That's what I learned from Spencer. Even if I was doing it because I'm gay, so what? And I really like that. I really like that about Spencer. I really like that about Santana. I even like that about Karofsky, that their shtick wasn't that they were gay. A lot of their turmoil between these two were because they were gay. But once they came out, she kept being who she was and he got nicer, which is, I guess, who he really was deep down. And so these three characters really didn't let the label of being gay really define them. Whereas, I mean, I guess Brittany didn't either. But like, that's where Kurt and Unique and Blaine and Star Child, like that's kind of what they did. Was the label of being gay is what made them who they were. And I don't like that as character. I have my own gay character in my book. You don't even find out he's gay until the end of the book. So of course there's clues to it, but still, you don't even find out he's gay to the end of the book because I want there to be so much more to him than his sexuality. And when you have a character and you push him up front and he's gay up front, that's all he is. That's all people see him as. Take it from a gay man, that's all people see you as, is when you put that you're gay up front, that's all you are. I really didn't like that with Kurt. I really feel like gay representation back in 2009 shouldn't have been that. It should have been Spencer. But that's it. That's my tier list. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. I hope I didn't offend anybody. Even if I did, oh well, I've offended people in the past on my channel. So if you liked the video, I hope you consider liking. If you like me, I hope you consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye.